Did you know that your SNAP benefits can expire? A lot of people don't realize that, but we've been getting a lot of questions about this lately. So we wanted to talk to you about this really quickly. It is not uncommon, unfortunately, for people to check their EBT balance and find out that the money that they thought they had is gone. Sometimes it's the result of theft, sometimes it's expiration, but it always feels like money just vanished, and it's always very painful when this happens. So, we wanted to go over the reasons that it can happen and some things that you can do to protect yourself to make sure that it doesn't happen to you. So, with that, let's start with a quick discussion of why SNAP even disappears. It's most often due to fraud or theft because scammers have gotten really good at skimming and cloning EBT card information to steal those balances. However, in some cases, it is the result of expiration because those unused benefits can expire and then the government takes that money back. Either way, it's always a hardship when it happens. We're going to talk about EBT theft first because I think this is the most common reason. EBT theft really exploded after 2020 when we had those emergency allotments going out and scammers started just cloning those magnetic strips really easily. They do this by planting skimming devices on card readers at ATM and grocery stores. And once they get that card information, they can drain your card remotely before your next deposit hits, usually from a different state. And a lot of people don't even notice until they go shopping the next time because they still have their card with them. It doesn't make sense. But when they swiped it, that information was stolen. And then the scammer has another copy of that card that can be used as soon as those benefits hit. And that's why that happens. Now, of course, there are things you can do to protect yourself from this. You can look for loose or mismatched parts on card readers, especially at smaller stores or ATMs. Be wary of anything that looks bulky, taped, or different than the keypad. Use the other forms of payment whenever possible. For example, some states are rolling out chipped cards. That's always a better choice. Make sure you're being discreet with your PIN and change your PIN frequently and use the security features available to you through your app or your state's EBT portal to make sure that you're freezing those cards between uses. I recommend changing your PIN at least once a month, if not more often, because when they skim your card, they're taking the card number and the PIN information. And if you change that PIN, then they can't drain those benefits anymore. Now, if it's not theft, there's a chance that your account was drained due to expiration because this is still something that can happen. If your benefits disappear months after you last used your card, it's usually going to be an expiration issue. SNAP funds do roll over month to month usually. So if you don't use all of your benefits in September, that money will still be available to you in October, and it can roll over month to month. However, if you do not use your card for 9 consecutive months, you will forfeit the entire balance. That's called benefit expungement. And it happens at about the 274-day mark. So you want to be really careful of that. This is something that's most likely to happen with people who get the bare minimum in benefits, ironically, because a lot of times they'll save up month to month so that they can make a big bulk purchase. And if it goes too long, then they can lose their benefits altogether to that expungement. Now, in some areas, I've heard that they'll also move your card offline if you don't use it at least once every 90 days. If that happens, you're still getting the benefits. They just kind of lock your card, so you have to call in before you can use it again. So that is something to be aware of as well. So to prevent those kinds of issues, you should use your card at least once every 3 months, even for a bare minimum purchase, just to make sure that you don't get pushed into that offline storage state that I read about. You also want to make sure that you're using the EBT card regularly for the benefits. You also want to make sure that you're using it regularly for normal shopping as well. Benefits are used on a first in, first out basis, which usually prevents them from expiring. But don't carry a high balance for too long, and definitely don't go 9 months or more without using your card. Also, it's really important that you never ignore letters from the state office. Those state agencies have to provide at least 10 days notice before the benefits go offline and at least 30 days notice before expungement happens. So you should be notified in advance as long as your address is up to date with the state. Otherwise, if they can't reach you, you may not be able to get the notice that you need. Now, there are slightly different rules for summer EBT, also known as Sunbucks. These are those special summer supplemental benefits that are intended to help families during the summer months when school meals are not available. This is worth about $120 per child per summer. It's calculated at about $40 per month per child. Now, this is not available in all states. There are 13 states that did not participate in summer 2025. States get to choose every year whether or not they're going to offer this. But these benefits expire 122 days after the date they are loaded on your card. So you need to make sure that you're using them within that time frame, or those benefits will expire and disappear, and that would be very unfortunate. Now, if you've gotten this far and neither of these seem like things that you may have experienced, there's a possibility that you lost the benefits due to a missed recertification. That happens sometimes when the card just doesn't refill. Usually, you need to recertify every 6 to 12 months to stay active. And if you miss the renewal form or the interview, your case may close, the deposits may stop. That can get complicated. To make sure you don't miss that, make sure that your address is up to date, you're reading those letters. And if you are elderly or on disability payments and you have a fixed income, look into ESAP. That stands for Elderly Simplified Application Project. And if you qualify for that and it's something that your state offers, you may be able to stretch out that recertification so that you only have to jump through those hoops every 2 to 3 years instead of every 6 months or so. And if you did miss a recertification, don't panic. It's pretty easy to get back. You just need to reapply, and those benefits will get restarted. There is an error on this slide. Usually there is no back pay when you do that. If it lapses, then you're just going to start fresh. In most cases, you're not going to get any of those retroactive benefits that maybe you had on the account or that you missed. So do be aware of that. And with that, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Free Cash. This is a great way to earn a little bit of extra money if you're having a hard time getting food. It's not going to make you rich. Their website says that people earned on average $38 yesterday, but it's a great way to earn a little bit of extra money in your spare time, playing games, testing new apps, taking surveys, that sort of a thing. So check that out at the link that you see over there. And I'll be back soon with more ways that you can save money and get free stuff.